Right, Tottenham captain Hugo Lloris has been ruled out for the rest of the season with a thigh injury. Ryan Mason revealed the news at his press conference this afternoon. Our reporter Gary Cottrell was there. We can speak live to him now. Very good afternoon to you, Gary. So Lloris ruled out for the rest of the season, but has he perhaps played his last game for Spurs?
Well, there's a real chance of that, to be honest. 36 years old now, only 1 year left on his contract. Will his last game in a Tottenham shirt be that disappointment of that defeat against Newcastle, letting in 5 goals in 21 minutes before going off with a thigh injury? The club have had further examination into that thigh injury, and it's been confirmed that he won't play again this season. And with a new head coach on his way in, and obviously the board potentially in the market for a new first choice goalkeeper, it may well be the last time Hugo Lloris plays for Tottenham. But Ryan Mason says that the club captain, the man who led France to the World Cup, still has a role to play behind the scenes here for the rest of the season.
Hugo's out for the season, so we had the results back. Obviously disappointing, but we kind of feared that initially. We done some more tests, and yeah, he won't play again for us this season.
And obviously with potentially a new head coach arriving in the summer, do you think he will play for Spurs again?
So I can't speak about next season, but what I can say, he's got a very important role for us to the end of the season. He's our captain, and we need him. We need him to be a big part of the group, and I'm sure he will be.
So bad news then for Hugo Lloris, out for the rest of the season. In terms of some other players and whether or not they'll be involved again this season, well, there's a no, a maybe and a yes. Ryan Sessegnon is definitely out for the season, says Ryan Mason, so no more appearances from him this season. Basuma, he hopes to see him before the end of the season, but he's not sure yet, so that's a maybe. And Emerson Royal, yes, he will be involved on and off between now and the end of the season.
Well, Gary, speaking of maybes, Xabi Alonso, the latest name linked with the permanent managerial job at Tottenham. What can you tell us? What's the latest?
Yeah, he's the bookies' favourite at the moment. He's emerged, hasn't he, quite recently as potentially the one that the club want to go for. Obviously, he's in charge of Leverkusen at the moment. He's saying all the right things as far as Leverkusen fans are concerned, that he's concentrating on the games he's got left for them this season. They're not going to get into the Champions League via the Bundesliga. What are they now? I think they're 6th, 8 points off the Champions League places, but they may well get into the Champions League via Europe because they've got 2 big semi-final games coming up against Jose Mourinho's Roma. So, of course, he wants to concentrate on that. It's interesting because he cites Jose Mourinho when he was with him during his time at Real Madrid as the man who inspired him to become a head coach in the first place. Ryan Mason is obviously not being kept fully in touch with what's going on at boardroom level. He's got far too much on his plate trying to win the next 4 games this season.
I'm sure naturally when there's uncertainty, there's going to be names. That's football, that's part of it. But none of my energy, none of my attention is going into any outside noise or speculation. Within these walls, we're together, we're working together, and we've got a common goal, and that's trying to get as many results as possible till the end of the season. And I'm sure in the summer there'll be things happen, but at the moment that's pretty irrelevant.
So it's Crystal Palace on Saturday. If Tottenham lose to Crystal Palace and Manchester United at least draw against West Ham, then mathematically Tottenham's chances of the Champions League will be over. Obviously Roy Hodgson at the other end of the experience scale to Ryan Mason, but Ryan Mason has a lot of time for Roy Hodgson because it was Roy Hodgson who back in 2015 gave Ryan Mason his England debut in a friendly against Italy.
Gary, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much.